Wow. So this changes everything. That is how you get to 60, 70 plus CS at 10-minute mark. This really is a game changer. Welcome to the show. This is Climbing the Ranks with TiirthaDeva. My name is TiirthaDeva and I'm your host throughout this journey. Today's episode, we are looking at the mid-game phase of the game for the carry. Today's topics are sticking with the plan, how to farm effectively, whether fight or farm, and lastly, how to take objectives. And on next video, you see my live gameplay from Twitch. So if you want to have fun, learn some Dota and gain some MMR, come over on Twitch at TiirthaDeva and say hi and talk some Dota. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. So, sticking with the plan. Let's rewind a little bit back to the first episode where we learned how to create a plan for the game. So firstly, you want to ask yourself what my hero is good at. What kind of a carry am I playing? Is this carry timing based carry, late game monster, or objective pusher? You want to figure out what items do you need and what are your power spikes for this hero. Because as a carry, you are the win condition. Therefore, you want to think about who threatens me in the enemy team and who enables you in your own team. So you can adjust your gameplay looking at who threatens you and who enables you. So you wanna eliminate or avoid that who threatens you, and you wanna play around that hero that enables you. Now let's take a look at one example how to create a plan for a game. All right, let's look at Juggernaut. Juggernaut is a timing based carry and usually wants to get the first 2 items to really be online. This usually happens between 15 and 18 minutes. Juggernaut has a really good laning with the spin, having good damage and kill threat, and having a good sustain with the healing ward. But really where Juggernaut shines is with the level 6 with the Omni Slash. But since we learned that Juggernaut is a timing based carry and you really want to get the first 2 items as fast as possible, so you can really shine with the hero. Therefore, you want to think about how you can get to your first 2 items as fast as possible. So now the second question is going to be who threatens me in the enemy team. So who threatens Juggernaut in the game? Usually Juggernaut doesn't want to play against Lockdown, like Axe, Legion Commander, and Doom. This really ruins his game. Thirdly, you want to look at who enables the Juggernaut. Who do you want to play around when you have your key timings? Juggernaut wants to go in second. Usually he wants to start the fight with the Omni Slash and then clean up afterwards. So Juggernaut likes to play around frontline heroes that he has somebody to go in first. Frontline heroes are good and jump heroes are good. Juggernaut wants to follow up. That is where he really shines, starting the fight with the Omni Slash and then cleaning up afterwards. Alright, sticking with the plan. Well, there's not much to it. Just stick with the plan. This is what I learned being a professional golfer over 12 years, that I cannot recall a moment that, oh, that was a great idea to go off plan. This is the same for Dota. I have learned that I'll be best off if I just stick with the plan no matter what. There are very few exceptions where you wanna go off plan, but especially if you're under 5k, I recommend always going with the plan. Now, next we are gonna look at how to farm effectively. How to farm effectively. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to BSJ for creating awesome content, educational content on YouTube. If you want to learn some Dota, go check it out, BSJ on YouTube. And if you really want to learn some Dota, I highly recommend getting some coaching from BSJ or some other professional player. Now, today I want to cover 5-minute shove and pull technique, why to prioritize lane and ancient creeps, double camp technique, what are your farming goals, and to remember to stack and use words for information. Now let's hear it from BSJ about the 5-minute push and pull.
So I would say this is generally pretty good in lanes where we're winning and losing. Like, it's just generally the optimal strategy. But when you're losing, it means that you're doing it to what I'm about to say. You're doing it to avoid them. If you're winning, and you're doing it to get more farm. Okay. So basically the optimal strategy in this case is that after 5 minutes, we just want to pull the small camp like every minute. Like, It's just not worth interacting with them anymore, whether they control the lane or whether.
So after 5 minutes, what he's saying, after 5 minutes, you want to be pulling the small camp in order that the lane is going to be pushing, and that gives you time and access to the neutral camps. So after 5 minutes, you don't really want to spend time interacting with the enemy and rather just focus purely on farm.
We control the lane. We would rather just minimize time in lane and just pull the camp every minute. And the most important part about this is the neutral items. Like right after 5 minutes, right? You do this for 2 minutes, plus like one big camp or plus like one extra small camp or something. At the very least, do it for 3 minutes and you have a neutral item. So like the way that we get there is that we want this wave to die as quickly as possible. Do you know how you do that?
Pullers.
So also, when you get the access into the neutral camps, you'll also get the neutral item faster. That is actually news to me. I didn't realize this before, but that is also an important factor, that you want to get to the neutral camps as fast as possible so you can farm them for more CS and for the neutral item.
Tower.
Okay. So yeah, you literally just start that process right now. Like right this second, it gets pulled into your tower. You kill it as fast as you can. And if you pull it into your tower, you almost always, if done properly, you'll just walk over here at 5:15 and pull it. Right? So you should be able to do that yourself, regardless of what your support is doing. The biggest focus here is to start pulling the small at 5 minutes and use defensive aggro into tower to push the wave as fast as possible beforehand. Usually you start this right at 5. So you pull at 5:15, then 6:15, then 7:15. Like, that is the dream scenario, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's not possible every game. Okay, so I want to make it clear to everybody that like there's just going to be times where that doesn't happen. But if we're able to make that happen, that's the dream. And so you ask about...
Wow. So this changes everything. That is how you get to 60, 70 plus CS at 10-minute mark This really is a game changer. And here's a reason why you want to prioritize lane creeps and ancients over anything else. As you can see, we have S tier for lane creeps and ancients. Lane creeps giving you 160 gold per wave and 240 XP per wave. Then you have 2 ancient camps on each side, giving you 164 gold per camp and 314 XP per camp. You also have 5 large camps, 10 medium camps, and 4 small camps. But next, I will show you 2 effective ways how you can utilize the wave and make most out of your farming pattern. First, I want to make huge shout out to TiirthaDeva. He's an 11k carry player and I got this information from him. He's doing amazing educational content on YouTube and he's also providing coaching. So if you want to learn some Dota, go check him out. So he was saying the first option is riskier, but you are getting rewarded 588 gold even without any creep waves. So you start from the dire ancient triangle and you work your way down south. Or you start from the radiant river ancient camp and you work your way up north. If you can add a few creep waves into this, you are rewarded over 800 gold per minute. He was saying that this is riskier option, but if you're a lower MMR, this is definitely a viable option to experiment. Now, if you're higher MMR, he said that this is better, the safer option. So you start from the dire ancient river camp and you work your way right and then down and you end up into the medium camp. This gives you 526 gold per minute, and if you can add few waves there, you can get over 800 gold per minute. Now, next, we're gonna look at the double camp technique. So, the double camp technique. As you can see in this current patch, all of the neutral camps are paired with another camp. And you can utilize this double camp mechanic, especially with the Gyrocopter and Medusa, if you get the Quelling Blade. So when these 2 camps are paired, sometimes they are difficult to farm since there's no vision. You can't get vision of the 2 camps. So you can do so that you quelling down this tree. So this gives you vision of both of the camps. So now it's going to be easier to farm both of the camps. Bingo! And you can do this on every camp. And here it's especially important because these 2 camps are the hardest, I feel like. So cutting this tree and this tree. Now it gives me vision of both of the camps. So whether to farm or fight as a carry. Now the key thing to remember is what was the plan. So as a Juggernaut, as a timing based carry, you wanna farm the first 2 items as fast as possible. So you wanna aim to get the Battle Fury at 12 to 14 minute mark and Manta Style around 16 to 18 minute mark. So for this to happen, I have set up myself with the last hit goals being 65 at 10 minutes, 120 at 15 minutes and 180 at 20 minutes. So now when you are thinking about do I want to farm or fight, this is the priority number 1. So if to get to these last hits, the key thing is to have efficient farming pattern and to have 0 deaths. I kindly remind you that when you're playing carry, You can still buy wards, and I highly encourage buying some wards to give you a safer farm. Now let's take a look at few options. If I'm farming as a radiant carry, and I'm farming here in the bottom side of the map, I want to use a lane ward here, or I can use a ward here, or another good option is here on this high ground. Now these three spots give me good vision if enemy is coming from this way, unless they are smoked. But I like to use these places to secure and give me safer time to farm. So now we learn that dying 0 times is a key thing to hitting these last hit timings. So the idea is to get to your first 2 items as fast as possible. So now when you're thinking, should I go fight or just keep on farming? The few helpful ideas is that if the enemy is diving too deep, you can go help your team, like behind towers. Secondly, if the fight is happening on your farming pattern, then you can take a look at if it's a good fight for you. But to kindly remind you to soft commit, because remember, dying 0 time is the key you to hit the timings. So be mindful of if you soft commit or if you hard commit into the fights. Third thing is that you're getting your first 2 items fast. And you get really good lane, you get free farm, and you're farming like a lightning. So you get your first 2 items really fast, and then you can look to play with your team earlier. And now, reminding, I'm gonna say to be mindful and careful about this. But if you really know the power spikes of your hero, you can also play around the power spikes of your hero and play with your team. But in general sense, as a carry, you're the win condition and you wanna prioritize getting the farm, getting the items, so you can carry your team in the end. Now let's take a look at taking objectives. Now let's talk about objectives. Usually objective taking starts around 15 to 20 minutes depending on the hero. But now we are looking at the Juggernaut and we wanna take the first 2 items as fast as possible and then play with the team. Generally, the first real objective is Tormentor at 20 minutes. If you have seen pro games, in pretty much every pro game, they are trying to get the Tormentor as soon as possible at 20-minute mark. But now I have noticed that in the lower MMRs, it is free to take if you are just prepared at 20 minutes. So I highly recommend informing your team beforehand that let's get ready and get the Tormentor for free at 20 minutes. And now the second real objective would be Roshan, and this usually happens around 25 to 30 minutes. And you want to take the Rosh if you have huge advantage and vision, or you can have a pick-off before the Roshan. So I recommend making a smoke play, getting a pick-off, and then heading into the Rosh. But to remember, please do ask your supports to stand on the high ground to give vision, or to place a ward to give your team a vision. Now, without further ado, let's hop onto Twitch and apply this knowledge into live gameplay. On the next video, you will see my live gameplay from Twitch, or if you want to have fun, learn some Dota and talk some Dota, come to Twitch, on my channel at TiirthaDeva. See you there.